There are corners of this city that no map dares get quite right. Places where the gas lamps gutter a little too low, and the bricks sweat with secrets too old for any living tongue. Red Hook is one of those corners. A bruise on the Brooklyn coast, pulsing with old blood and older desperation. A place built on old ship timbers and bad decisions, where every alley turns like a question you don't want answered. Detective Thomas Malone once walked the line between order and chaos. These days, he just limps along its edge. Once a poet, once a soldier, once a man with something to believe in. Now, a man with too many memories and too few illusions, haunted by a past that left scars too deep to see. He thought that he had left the worst the world had to offer behind him, but he didn't know what he would find in Red Hook. This isn't a story about guilt or innocence. It isn't about law or justice or even madness. It's about the cracks in the world, the ones you don't see until you've fallen in. And once you fall, there's no climbing back. Only the long descent into something ancient, something waiting. This story starts where most good ones end, with a woman, a lie, and a case no sane man would take. But sanity is in short supply in Red Hook. The Eldritch Episodes present The Horror at Red Hook by H.P Lovecraft.
Down in a place where lost souls stray, a kiss of moonlight then fade away. Oh, love and madness, they all look the same. The deeper you go, the darker the game. Down in a place, the night sings low. The city whispers what shadows know. Oh, hungry eyes down to the core, a sense of melting and wanting more. Oh, through Eldritch chants, the very ground shook. The cursed streets of old Red Hook. Through Eldritch chants, the very ground shook. The cursed streets of old Red Hook.
Detective Malone, how's your recovery progressing? Those wounds treating you well?
Better than I expected. Thank you. Bones mend, scars fade, mostly.
And yet there was that nervous incident in Rhode Island last month.
Some scars, well, they take longer to heal. It was momentary, nothing more.
Momentary events tend to have long shadows in your file, but we'll let that be. Tell me, do you believe in patterns, Detective?
Depends. Patterns are just chaos with a name and a good tailor.
And yet, Red Hook, you've seen things most men would call madness. Heard names the Bureau can't trace. That makes you valuable. Let's discuss Red Hook, specifically Robert Suydam. When did you first become aware of him?
Red Hook. Yes. I'll tell you about Red Hook. But don't expect a clean story. That place doesn't tell them that way. New York City. A town of bright lights and deep shadows. And down in Red Hook, the shadows ran deeper than anywhere else. My name's Thomas Malone, private detective. I thought I'd seen it all until I stepped into the nightmare that was Robert Suydam. This city's got a rhythm, a heartbeat, the slap of shoes on wet pavement, the hum of neon signs, the constant whisper of deals made in back alleys. It's a place where men rise and fall overnight, where fortunes change hands with the roll of the dice, and where, if you're not careful, the darkness swallows you whole. Most nights I don't sleep much. You spend enough time chasing shadows, and soon they start chasing you. But the case of Robert Suydam, well, that one was different. That one left scars, the kind you can't drink away, the kind that keeps you staring at the ceiling long after the city's gone quiet. It started on a Tuesday, the kind of Tuesday that could pass unnoticed if you blinked. And I might have, had it not been for her. They say trouble walks in on two legs. They say it knows just what to say, how to breathe, and just when to let a single tear fall. I've seen plenty of trouble, but somehow each time it still managed to surprise me. Come in. She walked in like a half-remembered song. Soft, dangerous, and just familiar enough to make a man uneasy.
Detective Malone. Cornelia Garrettson. I called earlier. Thank you for seeing me.
Of course, Miss Garrettson.
Your office is honest. Not like I imagined. Somehow I was expecting polished chrome and gleaming filing cabinets.
Yeah, well, polishing chrome takes too much time, and the cleaning lady only comes when I can pay her.
Hero Cop. Is this you? I didn't realize you were the decorated type.
Please, sit down. I don't have much time.
Straight to business. I suppose charm is wasted on a man who frames his own press.
Saves me from telling the story twice. Now tell me what brings you here.
My mother and I find ourselves in a rather difficult situation concerning my half-uncle, Robert Suydam. He's changed, Detective.
Changed how?
His mind, it seems, is slipping. He is, or was, a brilliant scholar. Now...
The city's full of mad scholars. Most just yellow pigeons.
He has let himself go, Detective. His grooming, his clothing. He looks like a tramp. He lives alone, well, practically alone, in that decaying mansion of his. It's him and that dreadful butler. Worst of all, he's taken up with unsavory types in Red Hook. People who shouldn't be trusted. Immigrants, criminals involved in who knows what.
Huh. And how do I fit in?
We need proof so we can have him committed. He won't let anyone near him. Family, doctors, not even his old friends.
Your uncle refuses a doctor, so you want a detective instead. Interesting approach.
We believe he's no longer mentally fit. My mother's health is fragile, and Uncle Robert controls the family trust. If he's committed, control passes to her.
So it's about money.
No, Detective. It's concern. Genuine concern. Yes, there's money involved, but only because my mother is not receiving sufficient care. Uncle Robert has made some very large withdrawals recently, according to a friend at the bank. We worry he's squandering it on God knows what.
And what exactly would you like me to do, Miss Gerritsen?
Oh, I don't know exactly. You could follow him or talk to him. Document whatever craziness he's into. Get us something we can take to a judge to prove he needs help.
You said he was a scholar. Where did he study? Did he ever teach anywhere?
Not that I know of. He never went for a degree. Said academia would only confine his thinking. The trust gave him the luxury to avoid work and focus on his own studies. I think he may have published a book or two years ago, but he never sought out institutions or titles.
Interesting. Does he have any other family that might get involved or contest it? Any children or other siblings?
No, he has been a lifelong bachelor, as far as I know. Mother and I are the only family he has left. He is my mother's half-brother from my grandfather's first marriage, and being the oldest, he has full control of the trust.
And what about you? Any other family?
No, only mother. I did have an older brother, but he didn't come back from the war.
I'm sorry for your loss, Miss Gerritsen. A lot of good men didn't come home.
Did you serve?
Yes, I was with the British Army. I was in France, in the Somme, and later at Argonne. I fought alongside a lot of Yanks at Argonne. They were brave and fought well. It was.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stir up bad memories.
Well, that's all in the past now. Very well, Cornelia. I'll look into it for you. My rate's $25 a day, minimum of 2 days, plus expenses.
Here's $200 up front to cover your initial expenses.
A generous down payment, Miss Gerritsen.
Consider it motivation, Detective Malone. I'm counting on you.
Maybe I didn't know exactly what she was hiding, but trouble was written all over her face, in silk stockings with a crooked smile. But trouble pays well, at least for now. You learn a lot about a man by digging through what he leaves behind. Not just trash or old letters, though those can be telling, but what he put out into the world then walked away from. So I did what I always do when something doesn't sit right. I went to the library. The main branch on 42nd had a copy of Occult Topographies of the Near East by one Robert Suydam, printed in 1907. Dusty, yellowed, but still intact. There were others, Sacred Geometry Among Pre-Sumerian Cults, the heretical Kabbalah, echoes of chants of the Black Ziggurat, all self-published, all from decades ago. The man had been prolific once, brilliant maybe, but then silence. Nothing after 1910, not an article, not a lecture, not even a mention in the footnotes of other crackpots. 20 years of nothing. Either he stopped writing, or he started writing things that couldn't be printed. And what he wrote, it wasn't just folklore. It was obsession. Pages filled with diagrams, ritual notations, invocations. Not just translations, but instructions. He wasn't a scholar. He was a practitioner. If the past was supposed to stay buried, nobody told the New York Public Library. Suydam's trail was still warm in the stacks. He hadn't stopped. He'd just gone underground, deeper than the subway, deeper than memory. But if he was still writing, it wasn't for people like me. Red Hook was a strange poetry of contradiction, beauty and decay, and violent embrace. Crowds surged like a relentless tide, waves of humanity from every corner of the earth, crashing together yet never fully blending. Scents of spices, salt water, and sweat thickened the air, mingling with cries of vendors selling food I couldn't pronounce, goods from worlds I'd never seen. It is a babble of sound and filth that sends out cries to answer the lapping oily waves at its grimy piers, and the organ litanies of the harbor whistles. And amid the chaos, flashes of color bloom like flowers in rubble. Laughter rang out, defiant of poverty and despair. Through this madness I followed Suydam. He didn't look like much. He was fat, pale, with eyes too bright and too far gone. White hair stuck out from under a battered Homburg, and his long coat, shiny with filth, was stretched over his frame, like it remembered better days. He walked with cane tipped in silver, but it wasn't for show. Every step looked like it hurt, yet there was purpose to his stride. He moved confidently, parting crowds effortlessly, pausing to whisper to huddled groups of foreigners. Faces wary, voices lowered, deals sealed in brief exchanges. Whatever he offered or received, it was urgent, important, hidden. Eventually, he vanished into the Dreamland Ballroom, a crumbling former church that now offered salvation in rhythm of jazz and swing. From sacred to profane, the building mirrored the soul of Red Hook itself. Evening, miss. Busy night?
Always is. Cover charges 1 bit.
Here you go. Keep the change.
A big spender. Thanks, mister.
Say, do you happen to know that older gentleman who came in a few minutes ago? Bit eccentric, frequents your establishment, I think?
Maybe. A lot of faces pass through here. Don't pay much attention.
Hard to miss. Fat. Unkempt white hair. Long shabby coat. Walks like he's in a dream.
Him? I don't really know him. He spends time downstairs. A few of them rent the basement for private things. I just work the gate.
Of course. Thank you.
Oh, this happy day! Let the drinks go busy tonight! Rounds for everyone!
Yeah, listen, I want to give Daisy the benefit of the doubt, I really do. But, with all those guys, all of the go at once. Why would all I'm saying is that I
Don't fucking beat you up, you hear me? I'm gonna fucking beat you up! I'm gonna fucking break your nose, Joey! And then I'm gonna fucking break your legs!
It was just a joke, Tony. It was just a joke.
I had a friend pass through London not long ago. Said folks over there whispering about a nasty bit of business. Not murder or the like, but 2 grave robbers. If you can believe it. Dug up a corpse somewhere in the Netherlands. And ever since they claim something's been following them. Real old world horror. Creepy stuff. Not that I buy it.
Got the cash, and I got the supply. So tell me, boy,
You know I love you. Why you think I go down 5 points? Get the money you deserve. To give you the life you deserve. Cause you're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine. As warm as a glass of brandy. Baby, I stay stoned on your love all the time.
Oh, come on, gorgeous. Just come on, have a seat, talk for a while.
Let's hear it one more time for the guys who just lit this place on fire! Give it up for the band, folks. Stick around, because the night's still young. We'll be right back after a short break.
What'll it be?
Information mostly. Robert Suydam. Comes around here often.
Depends. Who's asking?
Private investigator. Not the law, but close enough to make it unpleasant.
All right. I don't want no trouble. Guy like that? Sure. Weird duck. Keeps to himself. Doesn't touch a drop. Always heads for the basement. Once brought in a box. Looked heavy. Stank like old meat and seawater.
You ever bring company?
Some fellas. Foreign. Quiet. Shadows. Don't talk much.
Anything else?
Sometimes you can hear music from down there coming up through the heat register. Yeah, but it's not jazz, more like a funeral dirge played on a pipe organ.
Where's this register?
Down that hall. Just before you get to the can.
Thanks. For your troubles. I didn't walk straight to it. I'd be asking for trouble. I wandered down the side corridor like I was looking for the restroom. Slow. Casual. Just another tired man chasing bad decisions. But my ears were working harder than my feet. There, beneath the rusted grate near the floor, sound rose up like heat from a dying furnace. Voices, low and rhythmic, chanting in patterns that didn't belong to any Sunday service I'd ever known. Deep organ-like tones wove through the air, sinister, pulsing, alive. And then I heard it. A name as clear as a razor through fog. Dayaka Hezer. The name meant nothing then, but the cold certainty gripping me said it soon would. I needed to find a better vantage point. A basement window or air shaft. So I stepped outside to see what I could find. And that is when my past reared its ugly head. I headed down the alley, looking for a better angle, some cracked window or vent that might give me a glimpse into the basement. But down there, it was all shadow and rot. No light, no movement. Just a kind of darkness that feels thick enough to breathe. Then I heard it, cutting through the silence like a rusted saw. A voice I knew too well. Rough as boot leather and twice as stubborn.
You always did have a nose for trouble, Tommy.
Duke O'Shaughnessy. Thought I smelled cheap tobacco and bad opinions.
You slumming it in the Red Hook? Or did you lose your sense of direction along with your badge?
I'm still chasing shadows. You?
Chasing rats. Same as always. But you're a civilian now, right? One of the little people.
Some of us don't need a badge to ask questions.
No. But it helps when the answers bite. You walked out, Malone. We were neck deep, in the mud. You just walked.
I had my reasons.
Yeah? And I bet they sounded real noble in your head. But out here, they sound like excuses. You got tired of making hard calls.
No. I got tired of the calls no one was willing to make. I wasn't gonna be the guy chasing ghosts while the brass drank scotch and looked the other way.
Still talking like a poet. Maybe that's your problem. You see too much meaning in shadows.
And you see none.
So, what are you doing poking around this pit?
Looking into a man named Robert Suydam. You know him?
Old fat guy. White hair. Walks like his spine's got no opinion. Yeah, I know him. Let's talk somewhere that doesn't smell like piss.
Come on. There's a joint around the corner that won't kick us out for being tired and cynical.
We slipped down a side street, past shuttered shops and garbage that hadn't moved in days, until we came to a plain, unmarked door with a red bulb overhead, just dim enough to make you question if you saw it all. Duke knocked twice, then once more, and the door creaked open like it had been waiting. Joints like this were supposed to be ghosts. Places that didn't exist on any map, unless you knew who to tip and how to knock.
Good evening, Duke. Table in the back.
Yeah, make it 2 shots and a beer. He's buying.
Now listen, we've had tabs on Suydam for a while. Creeps around Red Hook like he owns it. He looks inky, but the guy's a pale lump, scarlet type, barely casts a shadow.
Go on.
That's where the trouble starts. On his own, he's nothing. But the company he keeps, that's where the trouble starts. He's been cozying up with the worst elements this city ever spat out. Foreign scum, smugglers, traffickers, you name it. Half of them don't even speak English.
That sounds like your usual Red Hook paranoia.
You think I'm blowing smoke? Listen. We've raided the Dreamland Ballroom half a dozen times. Brought dogs, lit the place up top to bottom, found nothing but a couple of crates of bootleg gin and a bunch of jitterbugs. Yeah, we could have shut it down. But all the other crap going on down in Red Hook, no one cares. And even if we did, it would just pop up somewhere else.
What do you mean by other crap going down in Red Hook?
The foreigners. There's more of them pouring in every day. And they're not coming in through a lease. I'm telling you, there's tunnels underneath this whole neighborhood. I'd stake my badge on it.
Tunnels?
For bringing them in. Illegals, stowaways, maybe worse. We got entire ships going dark and dumping passengers into these alleys. I swear, one night I saw a woman in silk robes leading a line of kids through the side alley. Next day, vanished. No one reports it.
Missing persons?
Plenty. Most immigrants, vagrants, a few kids. Nobody gives a damn. Not the papers, not the brass. Just another dead wop or Turk, or Chinaman, or whatever. My job's not to police this rabble. Just to man the barricade and keep the contagion from spreading. These people don't even care about their own coming into this country, and they don't even want to be American. Melting pot. More like cesspool. We should just close the borders, send them back to whatever shithole they came from.
Funny you bring that up. Remind me again when your family got off the boat. Second generation, right? Detective O'Shaughnessy.
That's different. We built this place. These people
Weren't wanted either. Signs in windows said no Irish need apply. Now you're the one hanging the sign.
Don't start preaching to me, Malone. You asked, I'm telling you. Something's rotten down there, and I don't mean the fish.
He was a bastard, but he wasn't wrong. Not about the smell in the air. That damn copper stink that clung to your clothes like regret and didn't wash out. Not about the hard-working souls of Red Hook. Men and women who came to this country chasing something better and found themselves swallowed by the shadows. And not about the shadows, whatever it was. I was already too deep in to climb back out. If there was truth to be found, it wasn't in bars or back alleys. It was behind a rusted gate, a few streets over, waiting. The next day, I headed to Flatbush to see if I could manage an interview with Suydam in his home. The house on Martent Street had seen better centuries. A great Dutch structure had gone to seed. Ivy strangled the stonework. Shutters sagged on their hinges, and weeds rose like sentinels from what might once have been a garden. It looked less like someone lived there, and more like something slept there.
We don't want whatever it is that you are peddling.
Good afternoon. I'm afraid you misunderstand me. I'm here to see Mr. Suydam.
We are not receiving guests.
I believe Mr. Suydam might make an exception. My name's Thomas Malone. I'm a scholar of comparative religion and folklore. Dublin University. And I've recently read his paper on Kabbalistic symbolism and the Faustus legend. Quite compelling.
He is occupied.
I won't take much of his time, I promise. But I'd be remiss not to at least ask a few questions. His work overlaps with some of my own research.
Very well. I will see if the master will speak with you. You may step in. Wait here.
Inside was no better. Books stacked like barricades, paint peeled from the walls, and a chill hung in the air like the house had forgotten how to warm itself. I was stopped by an old cabinet, dusty, heavy, like it hadn't been opened in decades. Inside, relics stood frozen in time. A statue taken from Persia, worn by the ages. Artifacts from a tribe in Brazil. A weathered stone pulled from an abandoned fort in the Caribbean. And other strange unmarked objects. Pieces that could have come straight out of a museum. On the hall table there was a stack of drawings, dozens of them. Each one showed the same object. A gold plinth, faceless and massive. No markings, no symbols, just shape and weight and stillness. Every sketch showed it from a different angle, like he was trying to see through it. Or confess something he couldn't say out loud. In the bottom corner of each sheet, in crisp block handwriting, was a single phrase, Ancora Aurea Ritualis, translating, the golden ritual anchor. I didn't know what it meant then. Just that I felt colder looking at it. Like the paper was heavier than it ought to be.
The Master has agreed to see you. This way.
The study was all shadows and silence. Books piled high, windows shut tight, and the kind of cold that didn't come from the weather. Good afternoon, Mr. Suydam. I appreciate you seeing me.
I'm told you've read my work, Mr. Malone. A rare thing, and rarer still someone who understood it.
The parallels you draw between late-stage Kabbalah and the Faustus archetype are fascinating. The idea of spiritual ascension through pact and paradox. Well, it's not entirely unfamiliar to those of us who studied esoteric systems.
Yes. It's an area neglected by most modern thinkers. The Western mind fears paradox. They prefer their truth in black and white, when all meaningful truths are grey and bleeding.
That's actually why I wanted to speak with you. Well, partially. I've been reviewing materials on contemporary urban folklore, particularly traditions among immigrant communities. I noticed your earlier writing hinted at symbolic geographies, city spaces imbued with ritual purpose. But nothing recent. Nothing about Red Hook.
I don't publish everything I study. Some knowledge prefers the shadows.
And yet, Red Hook's such a rich crossroads. You spent a great deal of time there, haven't you?
Red Hook is convenient, fertile, the sort of place where traditions fester beneath modernity. One hears things, if one listens.
And do you listen, Mr. Suydam?
I do. Quietly, and with great care.
That's good to hear. Because truthfully, my visit today isn't entirely academic. I've been retained by your cousin and her daughter. They're concerned for your well-being.
Oh, so that explains it. Of course they are. The concern grows in proportion to my withdrawals from the family trust.
They want you declared incompetent. I'd rather not lie in my report, Mr. Suydam. That's not how I operate. If you're of sound mind, I'll say so. Convince me.
Very well. Ask your questions, Mr. Malone. But do be quick. My work awaits.
You've been spending a great deal of time in Red Hook. Why?
Because Red Hook is at a crossroads, a convergence. I spent most of my 20s traveling through Europe and Asia. I studied folk traditions, shamanic rites, burial customs, invocations. Some villages took weeks to reach, and the road was not always kind. Bandits, disease, mistrust, but I found knowledge, deep, buried things.
And now?
Now the world has come to me. Imagine my surprise when I encountered a group of Kurds in Red Hook, members of the very same sect I once sought in the mountains of Kurdistan, worshippers of a mother goddess known as Dayaka Hezar. Do you see, Mr. Malone? The same tribe now living just 4 miles from my front door.
That's quite the coincidence.
There are no coincidences, only arrangements we do not yet understand.
And the state of your home, your appearance.
Superficialities. The people I study don't trust Americans in suits. If you want to listen, truly listen, you must become part of the background. You learn more with rough edges. Besides, I have limited time.
Your health?
My health is my concern. Suffice it to say, I must work while I still can. I am on the cusp of something important. I think that will conclude our interview, Mr. Malone. I have work to get back to. Good day to you, sir. Laszlo, you may show the gentleman out.
If you will come with me, Mr. Malone.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Suydam. Your master's still sharp, Laszlo. but the edges cut strange.
Then mind where you walk. You should not be poking your nose where it doesn't belong, detective. You might live to regret it.
That's the story of my life. Suydam was lucid. Eccentric, yes. Unkept and obsessive, but not mad. Not yet. If he was dancing with devils, he still knew the steps. I left with more questions than I'd come with. We met at a place uptown. All linen napkins and polished silver. She wore black silk and pearls like a second skin. Morning cheek. Widow of an inheritance. She didn't order anything. Just sat there, waiting for me to speak first. Well, Miss Gerritsen, I've done the legwork. Spoke with your uncle. Followed him. Read what he's published. And while I don't like the man, I don't think he's insane.
You sound disappointed.
I'm not paid to be disappointed. I'm paid to observe, report, and testify. And unless he starts dancing naked through traffic, I don't see a judge declaring him incompetent.
Then you don't know what it's like. Watching your mother wither away while the money meant to save her goes into the pockets of fanatics and foreign thugs. He's our only family, Mr. Malone. I thought you might understand what that means.
I understand grief, but I don't falsify reports over it. Suspicion's not proof, and it's for the judge to decide. I can only report the facts.
My mother cries herself to sleep, Detective. She used to sing. Now she just counts coins and coughs. I've tried everything. This was all I had left.
I'm sorry, Cornelia. No one should have to watch someone they love fade like that. I've seen it too. But the truth's the only thing that I got left that doesn't haunt me that night. Grief makes thieves of us all. Just be sure you still recognize yourself when the dust settles. I wish I could do more. I really do.
Maybe grief isn't the only thing I feel. I mean it when I said I liked your eyes. You're not like the rest. I could use someone like you. Someone strong, smart, with a sense of poetry.
Don't bother. You're not the first client to try that angle.
And did it work?
Only once. I was young and drunk. These days, I'm just tired.
What if I increased your fee? 100 more? 2?
Not for sale.
Then maybe you're not as smart as I thought.
Maybe not. But I sleep just fine.
Look, I know how this looks, but I'm just trying to protect what little we have left. My mother's health isn't a game. She needs care, and he's bleeding that trust dry.
Then you should have hired an accountant, not a detective. I'll tell the court what I saw. Nothing more, nothing less. She tried tears, flirtation, and finally, money. 3 plays from the oldest book in the world, but I've read that book cover to cover. Cornelia Gerritsen was smart, cold, and far more desperate than she let on. And if I'd learned anything by then, it was that desperation like that doesn't just dry up. It spills over. Later, at the sanity disposition, I gave my statement under oath. Clear, unbiased, no embellishments. And so, Your Honor, in my professional opinion, Robert Suydam is eccentric, perhaps even obsessive, but not irrational. I was unable to find any evidence that he was not capable of managing his estate and personal affairs.
Thank you, Detective Malone. Mr. Suydam, please approach. Mr. Suydam, your family claims your behavior has grown erratic. They cite strange hours, unusual associates, and unkempt living conditions. How do you respond?
Ah, Your Honor. When viewed through the keyhole of gossip, even the noblest pursuit may appear disheveled. Yes, I keep unusual hours. So do astronomers and poets. I consort with immigrants, philosophers, dancers, priests, and mystics, because wisdom is not confined to classrooms and parlors. As for my home, well, the garden has run wild, it is true, but so did Eden until someone thought to name it. My research into ancient ritual and esoteric symbology demands a certain elasticity of lifestyle. I do not adhere to society's clocks, but I remain entirely punctual in my obligations. I balance my accounts, pay my taxes, and my correspondence, while delayed, is thorough. I may be dusty, but I am not deranged.
And what do you say to the concern that your activities reflect diminished responsibility, or that you pose a risk to yourself or others?
Your Honor, I am no firebrand anarchist, no menace to the public good. My days are spent with books, not bombs. I walk the streets quietly, I ask questions politely, I dine frugally, and I return home long before midnight, unless the moon is particularly inspiring. I am guilty only of curiosity, which, last I checked, was not a crime in this country.
Very well. Any final statements?
Only that I regret any distress my solitude may have caused my dear family. My dear sister has always been of delicate constitution, and my absence from her social sphere may have seemed callous. For this, I apologize. I shall ensure her comfort with an increased allowance, enough to ease her health, nerves, and her sensibilities. But I assure this court I am in full possession of my faculties, and I will continue my work, as I always have, in peace. I deeply regret any distress I've caused my family.
Mr. Suydam, the law cannot and should not punish a man for being unusual. Eccentricity, even obsession, is not madness. You have demonstrated poise, clarity, and intention in your statements. This court finds no sufficient evidence of incompetence, nor justification to override your autonomy.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your wisdom and civility do you great credit.
Being presented with no evidence to the contrary, this court finds Robert Suydam to be of sound mind and fit to manage his personal and financial affairs. The petition is dismissed.
He spoke like a man uncoiling after a long silence. Measured, elegant, rehearsed. Too rehearsed. The court bought it. They always do when a man speaks like he belongs in the room. But I knew better. That wasn't the voice of innocence. That was theater, and I'd seen enough theater to recognize when a curtain was about to rise on something darker. Court let out like steam from a cracked pipe. Cornelia moved quick, wanting to disappear into the noise of the street. But I caught her just as she reached the bottom step. Miss Gerritsen.
Don't. I've heard enough.
You're lost. That doesn't make me the enemy.
You could have helped us. You stood up and said he was sane, that he could keep bleeding us dry, spending our fortune on God knows what with God knows who.
I can only report the facts, and he gave a clean testimony. He answered every question. He's a little cracked around the edges, sure. But the judge was right. Eccentric's not a crime.
He used to send us books for Christmas. Not children books. Books we couldn't read. I was 6 when the first one came. Armenian. Then Sanskrit. Then something I'm pretty sure wasn't any language at all. You think a man like that wakes up normal?
No, but being strange doesn't make him crazy. Or guilty.
You don't know what it's like. Watching your mother die by inches while he hoards gold in that moldy mansion. Every week we wait for him to die, but he doesn't. He just gets stranger.
I'm sorry, but sympathy is not the same as perjury.
Miss Gerritsen, Mr. Malone. It's been What, 2 decades? I hardly recognized you, Cornelia. Last time I saw you, you were building castles out of blocks at your mother's feet.
Hello, Uncle Robert.
It's a shame we've remained strangers this long. Blood ought not to feel foreign. I hope we can correct that. And you, sir. Your testimony was appreciated. Honest men are in short supply. You did what was right, even if it displeased my dear niece.
No offense taken.
For the record, Cornelia, those funds from the trust weren't squandered. They were redirected. Investments in property, some even in Red Hook. Curious place, with curious possibilities.
Real estate. A throwaway comment, as casual as ordering lunch, but it lodged in my head like a sliver of glass. I tailed him through Red Hook, seen the faces he met, the shadows he moved through. And now he was planting flags. The case was closed, but that didn't mean it was over. The more I looked back on the conversation, the more I'd wondered if I'd just watched a new game begin. Something didn't sit right. I'd missed something. I just didn't know yet how deep it went. I had a feeling that there was something else about Robert Suydam than what I've seen. I started digging. Property records, corporate filings, anything with a paper trail. That's when I found Suydam had moved a lot of money to a holding company registered to a post office box in Hell's Kitchen. Name on the letterhead, Niger Capra Investments. Latin, Black Goat. Turns out Niger Capra owned that old church, the Dreamland Ballroom, as well as the Parker Place building. Red Hook's most infamous tenement, both buildings, both stains on the map, tied back to Suydam. I went back to Red Hook that night, this time watching the Parker Place building from across the street. Didn't wait long before I spotted him. Suydam, slinking through the fog like a man meeting his sins by appointment. I followed him through the alley. I was alone, standing on wet pavement, watching shadows that watched me back. That was a mistake. It was well past 7 p.m., Divine Street. The lamp lights flickered like they were trying to stay awake, buzzing half-heartedly in the cold. I kept walking. I didn't pay much attention. Should have. On one corner a man finished a cigarette. Didn't notice. Should have. Then a car door creaked open. About a man stepped out. Then another. All of them nodding at each other like they already knew how this would end. And I was too busy looking up at Suydam, trying to read him, pretending I had control. I didn't check behind me. And that's when someone pulled a knife from the dark, and they closed in. Let me go. We fought, or tried to. 2 of them pinned my arms. One reached for my gun. I kicked him hard. But it wasn't enough. It was never going to be enough. A bottle smashed on my back. I twisted. Caught one in the face with an elbow. I was straining, running out of angles and time. Then came the pain. Sharp, hot, and deep in my gut. Poison stab. I hit the ground, stayed there. He didn't take my money. Didn't take anything. Just said one thing.
You have come to the wrong place. We'll peel the soul from your bones. She is waiting for you.
They weren't trying to kill me. And that's when I knew. There was something wrong with this place. I was lucky Duke found me soon after. Bleeding, half conscious, but I was still alive. For now.
Malone! Ah, shit. That's a lot of blood. Hold on, Malone. At least I got one of them. Looks like I hit him a little too hard. No big loss. Don't worry, Malone. Help's on the way. We'll get you an ambulance. Just hold on. Malone, wake up. Wake up, damn it. Stay with me.
Did they ever identify your attackers?
The police claim they did. Used it as an excuse to round up a few undesirables. Easy wins, closed case. No questions asked.
And Suydam?
Nothing stuck. No charges, no inquiry. I spent 3 weeks in a hospital bed staring at the cracks in the ceiling. When I finally got out, the Garrisons had dropped the whole thing. I figured it was over. I thought I was done with Red Hook, done with Suydam. But a few months later, I was dragged back into all that mess. And that's when the real horror began.